he asks me a lot of questions about my ex-boyfriend. Not all at once, but they peek out here and there, a smattering of curiosity. How did you meet? How old is he? And why did you break up exactly? And why did you break up now, finally, after all of these years? And why? As hard as I try, my answers never feel adequate. We met through a college professor, my mentor, your friend. You saw me do spoken word. You were too old for me, but eventually I didn't care. I was in love and I looked past it. I looked past a lot of things. I loved your brain, so I didn't mind the body that came with it, so uptight. It's not a bad body, but we never had a spark. I didn't want to fuck the shit out of you, so eventually we didn't fuck at all, and I convinced myself that this was a natural progression, that I could live with it, because a lot of other things were really good, and from the outside we were really good, and from the outset we were the couple that everyone loved and admired and rooted for. Me, feisty and fun, you, thoughtful and calm, the kind of presence at any party that attracted all of my poor young friends in need of advice. You were so nice. You are the nicest person I will ever know. Now I'm feeling a bit desperate. It's hard to explain the ins and outs of a relationship without going deep, and I don't want to overwhelm the listener with tales of the back and forth, the conflicted heart, the years of wondering why something always felt off. But when you got sick before the Arcade Fire show and missed it, it was a turning point. And when you refused to see a therapist, a turning point. And when your boss was a dick to me and you still didn't quit, a turning point. It took a lot of turning points and 360-degree rotations to spin fast enough, to push hard enough to fall out of the circle. You and I and I and you. You and I and I and you. You were a constant, content, and I miserable, but content with pretending. I could not be the girl who asked you to move your whole life to another country with no language and no job and no friends and then dump you. And when you got sick, I didn't know if you needed a mother or an ass kicker. I opted for the latter and complained to my friends, to any friend who would listen, about how stagnant we felt, how wasted I was on this unambitious man, how I loved but didn't lust, how I wanted out but didn't want to let go. It's not easy to leave someone after so many years. To think that some far off day you'll want to turn to the person next to you in bed and say, "Remember when we were young and in Berlin? Remember the night we saw the fox on David Bowie's birthday and the streets were silent and filled with snow? Remember kissing in London in front of the casino? Remember the cats and how small they used to be? Do you remember me? Do you remember me?" You knew me at 19 and 20 and 21 and 22 and 23 and 24, which was a fucking doozy, and 25 I spent my birthday sick in a bathtub and you brought me breakfast, and 26 is the year I decided I did not need you anymore. And now I feel I have a mark on my forehead, a red X painted thickly, a red flag spiking from my back to warn the others she was 6 years gone. 6 years with one person is basically a marriage without the party, so I'm basically divorced without the alimony, and I'm not sure. Does that mean that I'm used up now? Or that I'm intimidating because I've seen things the others haven't? Or maybe I'm boring because I was building shelves and making soup while my classmates were snorting coke and fucking bartenders? Or maybe I'm scary. This is a serious girl and her blowjobs come with a price tag, 6 years and 2 cats. Plus, she'll make you move to Berlin, then be upset when you're unemployed, have no friends, and so much anxiety, you vomit on the S-Bahn twice. I thought I was a nurturer. I thought I was loyal. I thought I was girlfriendy. I thought I was nice. I thought I was easy to fall in love with. I thought I had an ass that don't quit. I thought that my hair was my best feature and that my vibe, a hint Bowie, a little manic pixie, was fun and even alluring. I thought I was nice. But I think that I'm nice and not nice, and that's a lose-lose, and maybe I would feel like less of a loser if I could forget, but I want to remember everything about us. To remember in real time from moment one, Demi, this is Ty, until the last one, sitting at opposite ends of the bed and you saying, so sad, I know that we're broken up now. I want to wake up and understand us, to be able to answer why, what was the reason for any of this, how much do 6 years and countless good intentions add up to? 3 million minutes? And is it enough to say that I am grateful for every stupid one of them, every second of you and I and you? Thank you.
Three reds in the red house, the red god, the red death. Three reds in the red house, the red god, the red death. Restore you, the red and the she-mounds will quake, and the gods will forsake their king, and they dance through the flames, and the ravens called your name, and the fates will play their game tonight. Three, 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 three.
I love the idea of kitchen table philosophy. The absolute wonder in women sharing their stories, breaking bread, creating magic, finding extraordinary in our seemingly mundane, claiming space to ensure our rich threads in this tapestry of life do not fade in colour, forgotten. I heard a friend say once, sometimes the story will find you. I wanted to learn the stories at the heart of Irish women. Some women I already knew and loved. Some I had yet to meet. And one woman that kept appearing relentlessly on rural roads, in odd little nooks, passing cemeteries, housing estates, at the bottom of strangers' gardens, on mountain roads, in people's houses. A ghostly figure in white and blue. I heard a friend say once, sometimes the story will find you. I wanted to know what she had to say. I wanted to know her through the stories of the women of this island. Their relationships appeared inextricably linked. I heard a friend say once, sometimes the story will find you. I thought my journey began by Muckish Mountain, in that little inlay on the road where we stopped in darkness, seatbelt off, and offered a little kiss to that lady in grey. The bridge of tears not far behind us. I didn't know then about those who had to say goodbye to loved ones for the chance at a better life. Here, in the gap, a place to stop, reflect, catch breath, and pray. I heard a friend say once, sometimes the story will find you. We spent a few weeks one summer driving through Ireland, exploring places I'd never seen, alone on a bus. Over and over again, there she was, in random places, hidden shrines on dangerous road bends. Curiosity sparkled in my brain. We ventured to Galway on that mystery tour, stayed in a small cottage just outside a town, still reeling from countless violations perpetrated against innumerable young mothers, babies buried, lost in time. We sat in the car, eating breakfast, beside a rustic and ramshackle shrine, paint chipping, plastic flowers faded, weathered, conjuring ideas to investigate this phenomenon further. What began as joking irreverence turned to an idea that demanded more than my imagination could ever have conceived. I heard a friend say once, sometimes the story will find you. I petitioned eagerly women I knew, reached out through networks without expectation, and listened. We talked together, shared ideas and our lives from each new concept that shaped the next. Like devotional petitions scribbled on scraps of paper, rolled up tight and tucked away in the gaps of rock, these stories of womanhood and Mary had become discreetly out of sight. I heard a friend say once, "Sometimes the story will find you." Childhood memories of confusion, not whistling lest Our Lady be offended, first communion dresses, and oh, the fuss, hoping to be picked for special processions to wear it one more time, wanting somehow to be thought good enough, lofty the heights of a virgin unattainable. Then motherhood, dehumanized in submission, or carrying the eternal shame of not wanting it to be the only choice, inability to reconcile perfection, immaculate, the horrors of the women who walked these paths before us, are around us, those who have yet to come. I heard a friend say once, "Sometimes the story will find you." Devotional stories of finding strength, comfort and loving faith, adoration for this sacred feminine, affinity found in a relatable deity to petition in anguish and despair, a softer side to this male-driven religion. These stories were gathered, shared through laughter, tears and anger, empathetic sorority-connected histories, redress, sought in love. I heard a friend say once, "Sometimes the story will find you." We talked of institutions and hushed practices silenced no more. We talked of her womanhood, how we identified with her lack of agency, the suffering she had no choice to accept. And how must that have felt? My journey to finding this woman showed me much of my own self. As mother, I wanted to hold her, tell her there's no shame in tears, understanding in the anguish felt to be there for your child, from first to last breath. I wanted to let her know I see that humanity, despite being clothed in heavy white and blue robes. I heard a friend say once, "Sometimes the story will find you."
Soaked in these sound waves, I am saturated with frequency, infatuated with this feeling that washes over me. I am bathing in emotion, floating to the motion of the beat that pulses through to my feet, that takes me off my seat, rising up to meet in a union of me and the melody. Energy moving in synchronicity as one source emits for the other to receive. Familiar to the sense but still hard to believe. We are born to the drum of the heart. This is what we have known from the start. This is our natural state. No need for phonics to relate. We had the power to create. This is what we know and love. Each note is a feeling thereof. Music belongs with us. Music is in us. Music perpetuates our expression with our ability to percuss and palpate the instruments with curiosity and inspiration that leads to the fruition of continual human projection of our energy, whatever form that may be. Sometimes love, sometimes sadness, sometimes happiness, sometimes madness. Whatever the outcome of our ability, it comes from within. We are not just a listener, we are the sound.
There's times I wish I was an old oak tree, just standing tall and magnificently. And people come with their axes, try to cut me right down, but I tire them till they collapse to the ground. I can see for miles and miles and miles where my branches may fall, but I'm still in this ground. Fires, Lord knows they have come, scorched this earth all around. But I'll reach for them heavens up in that sky, forever growing, Lord knows I'll try. Oh, I'll try to the day that I die. Them winners have come, and them winners they've gone. I've seen many things crumble, seen many trees fall. But I believe there is no thing that we call time. But these years pass me by and I grow higher and higher. One day I know I'll feel a mighty old wind, and that earth's gonna swallow me right back up again. But till then, fires, Lord knows they will come, scorch this earth all around, yeah. But I'll reach for them heavens up in that sky, forever growing, Lord knows I'll try. Oh, I'll try to the day that I die. that song was called I Am. I wrote that, it's got really nothing to do with it, but I wrote it about my dad passing. One day I was walking through the woods and there was this massive tree that was just falling over. And this line came to me. Sometimes I wish I was an old oak tree. And I go home and I sit down. I don't know where it came from. I wrote this song in 2 minutes, but that was it. But on to the next. The song's called No Road Long Enough. There's no road long enough that'll take me home, that'll take me home. There's no pills or poison keep me from feeling alone, keep me from feeling alone. I'm gonna take every road till I find my way. I gotta find my way. Take your time when you get there, 'cause our days are like them leaves floating in the air. You ought not cry, oh you ought not cry, just to keep your feet floating near that ground, just to keep your feet floating near that ground. Find a way to redemption if I can. Lord knows I can. Get out of contention. Well, I will die trying. You know I'll die trying. Take your time when you get there, 'cause our days are like them leaves floating in the air. You ought not cry, oh you ought not cry, just to keep your feet floating near that ground. You ought not cry, oh you ought not cry, just to keep your feet floating near that ground, just to keep your feet floating near that ground. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that song.
Postcards from space. They say love, new love, bright as new pennies in a till drawer. They say new love is like going into space. Sounds delicious. Remembered as a sea blue day, but space has two sides. The 3-bar heater light and the tar pit night. Messages between us took forever. Across the meteor belts, through the static fields, your light aglow amongst a billion others placed tricks on a starved mind. We orbited Saturn's rings, but close up they were just rocks and dust turning slower than the eye made out. Jupiter's red spot, too fiery to gaze at for long. Io, too forbidding. Neptune, too dark to make out the contours of a face. The moon, too dry. The moon, just an afterthought, a cut-out shape left over. A shaving of something greater found by accident on the creator's workshop floor. But there is one difference. As we wait for gravity's pull out of nothing, dying suns have their spectacular final call. Ours will be, I see, the cut of candlelight, nothing more than just dark matter, a light particle, a photon, slowly fading out. No place among the box compass sky, just another blackness between the mystery of two constellation stars that slowly orbit each other like pieces of a clock running backwards.
On the coast of an ancient red sea, underneath a burning sky, scarlet and amethyst, among the silhouettes of empirical ruins, the mulberry tree had slept for centuries. Comfy in the sanctuary of this thirsty land she rested, dreamt she was music itself, an instrument of bewitchment, backbowed and singing strings adorn an elegant neck, till the fire fell from the heavens. The fire fell from the heavens and she fled. Docks and brothels, dive bars and hashish dens of Greece, where she learned the song of love and money, hustle and sex, drugs and death. To 200,000 on the streets of Athens to bid her antio, as the Irish tourist carried her from the market to the coast of an ancient green land, where she listened to the session musicians play. They had no idea how the landscape had already changed.
My granny made me an anarchist, for Stuart Christie. My granny made me an anarchist that night when she came up with my bail. She said, Frankie, son, always box clever. Never let them put you into a jail. Never let them know what you're thinking, nor let them know that you intend their demise. If they stop you in the street, just keep smiling. And remember, a smile always starts in your eyes. Read a lot, have many friends, enjoy talking, have a beer or 3, but never to excess. Experiment with whatever you want to. But keep in mind, more is rarely better than less. Have relationships with whoever you want to, whoever takes your fancy or you to their bed. But try never to break any promises made, and keep religion well away from your head. She was just a wee woman fae Springburn, who claimed she didn't know very much, but when she went into the intricacies of anarcho-syndicalist thought, at first I thought she was speaking in Dutch. She said, there is a coming insurrection. Ye may not know when or where, but the why is all that we can ever be sure of. That and the fact that we'll die. There's this world, and there won't be another. We'll no be building new homes in the stars. Science fiction. Keep the emphasis on fiction. Politicians, they'll leave you nothing but scars. They'll try to dupe you, lie to you. Don't believe them, or their facts of the matter. It's all lies, no matter which party they claim to stand for. They're all the same one, with some in disguise. Granny never danced with Emma Goldman. Didn't drink with Bakunin, Rudy Rocker, or Lucy Parsons. She taught me that revolt is a natural tendency of life, and that a case may be well made for arson. Direct action, said my granny, is necessity. The world can be whatever all of us create, beyond decrees and control of parties and leaders, and there can be no redress from the state. Government isn't there for the governed. It serves the interests of the rulers and the rich. The rest of us are merely a game to be played by those who'll never die in any ditch. Aye, my granny made me an anarchist. That night when she came up with my bail, she said, Frankie, son, always box clever. Never let them put you into a jail.